So what I've done is I'm going to read you like a paragraph from the book, a real paragraph from Danny, Champion of the World, and then you have to see where I've slightly added the reality of my own fatherhood onto the end. Okay? So here's a bit from Danny, Champion of the World by Roald Dahl. I really loved those morning walks to school with my father. We talked practically the whole time. Mostly, it was just he who talked and I who listened, and just about everything he said was fascinating. He was a true countryman. The fields, the streams, the woods, and all the creatures who lived in these places were a part of his life. Although he was a mechanic by trade, and a very fine one, I believe he could have become a great naturalist if only he had had good schooling. Long ago he had taught me the names of all the trees and the wild flowers, and all the grasses that grow in the fields. All the birds, too, I could name, not only by sighting them, but by listening to their calls and their songs. Then one day my father was arrested for poaching, and was placed in the care of a short, stocky man with a beard, who insisted I call him either Buckules or Dr. Buckles, although he was not really a doctor. He said that he didn't have time to walk me to school because he was working on important jingles, and from now on he would drive me instead. I tried to ask him the names of the trees and plants we passed as we drove, but he couldn't tell me what a single one was called. Often he was unsure which were actually trees. I asked him what kind of engine his car had, and he said he thought the car took diesel and that it was silver, but that was it. I asked him about politics, and he started mumbling about everything being Al Gore's fault. After a few days the conversation ran out altogether, and we sat in silence on the trips to school. Then one morning he emerged from the house brandishing a shiny disc, which he thrust into the car's CD player. He turned to me and said, "I've made us a simply marvellous compilation to listen to in the car, Danny. There's some B-sides by Dirty Shirty and the Buggernauts, and there's a few live tracks by Jimmy Bignuts, Fointy Pinger and Jihadaway. I think this is going to be the most wonderful trip to school you've ever taken." I opened the car door and ran, and I didn't stop running until I was far, far away. Could you tell where the real story changed and where I came in there?
No. It was so... The transition was so smooth.
You wait till you're a father and you read Danny, Champion of the World. You will feel a little bit on the guilty side, I can guarantee.